I'm Mayor Tom Broderick, and I want to welcome all of you here to this afternoon. I guess it's afternoon, it's right after 12, for our rededication of the Anderson Fire Department. I appreciate all of you being here. I appreciate all the various city employees and department heads that came out for this. And I want to recognize and thank all of the retirees of the Anderson Fire Department. I know several of you. See Ralph over here, a former neighbor of mine. I know a lot of you are here, and I know you've had a chance so far to see some of the new improvements. I know there's some things that have changed since you guys were here, but I want to thank you for all of your service that you provided to the community over all the years. We're here today. As you know, this building was built in 1975, and at the time, it was really, truly a state-of-the-art facility. And I think we really have to recognize and take our hats off to the folks that worked on that project so many years ago, and the administration that was involved in that, and the fire department, the personnel that worked hard to make this really an unbelievable facility. I know about a year or so ago when we started looking at the renovations, we had some companies come in and walk through with us and looked at the facility, and at that time, the guys were kind of standing around in awe, if you would, and particularly in this area right here where these bays are. They were looking up at the ceilings and the way they were constructed and the soundness of the building, and they said, you know, you can't duplicate this stuff anymore. You can't build a facility like this anymore in any kind of cost-effective way because it would be so expensive. And so a few years ago, as the city began to look at what we might do in terms of making improvements in the departments, there was discussion, as you know, about the possibility of tearing this down or shutting it down and going and making and building a new facility. And if they had built a new facility, it would have been much more scaled down. It would have not, in our view, have met all of the needs that this particular facility makes for our firefighters that deserve really the best of the best facilities. And so we looked at whether or not building new versus renovating, which made the most sense. To recreate this particular building, if you were to do it today, and again, it would be cost ineffective, you wouldn't, but if you were to do it, they were estimating up to $18 million to build a facility like this. They were talking about a much more scaled down facility being around a $6 to $8 million facility. I'm sure it would have been every bit of that $8 million. So we began to look, and we knew that there was a lot of things in this building that needed improved. The windows weren't sealed right. The guys that work in this facility can tell you the heating and air was seemingly non-existent, at least in the summer. It didn't seem like there was any air, and in the winter there wasn't any heat. So it was really needed a lot of improvements. The roof needed substantial improvements, and of course it needed redesign because it was designed again at a different time. And so it needed a design that made some sense in the administrative part of the offices, where when people come in to pay their bills or work with the billing department, that they have a little bit of privacy rather than just be right out in the middle of the mix where all the administrators are. So those were a lot of the things that we looked at when we talked about what we might be able to do. And so what was decided was that renovation made a lot more sense than a new construction. And so in working with Chief Cravens and his administrators, we looked at what we really needed, and he reached out and talked to the firefighters about what they needed and what they thought would make sense. And so putting all that together, we came up with a plan, and we came up with these designs that you're going to see if you have the chance to take a tour. I invite you to do that, and you're going to find a lot of things that have been improved that really are going to make this a much more efficient, effective firehouse that'll be around for many, many, many years to come. The eventual price tag on that is just a little over $1.1 million, so substantially less than what it would have been had we done a rebuild, let's say. And the good news was we were figuring out, where do we pay for that? We didn't really want to borrow the money. We didn't want to raid the coffers of the city government, which obviously has limited resources because of tax caps and so forth. And so we were fortunate that the fellows worked hard and had been working hard on collecting monies that was owed to the city, to the fire department as a result of the various ambulance runs that we've made over the last several years. and we found there was a lot of unpaid and uninvoiced amounts that were due to the city, and we were able to bring in up to this date about $1.8 million in those collections, going clear back into about the 2012, 2013 timeframe. So it's those monies that we were able to use, and of our user fees, to be able to do the work that we've done here without any additional cost to the taxpayer. And so we're very proud of that. I particularly want to thank Chief Cravens for everything that he's done, and for the assistant chiefs. I want to thank Todd Cawthorn, Blaine Swinford, Sean Dietzen, Mark Keck, and Wilbert Kelly. These guys have worked closely with the balance of the administrative team to make this a reality today. I want to thank the members of the Safety Board who have overseen the fire department, have done an excellent job. I know Nikel's here today, Nikel Rector here in front. Appreciate everything you've done. Mike McKinley, former firefighter, of course, who's the chair of that facility, and Sam Dixon. I want to thank them. I want to thank our Board of Works, David Ikes, Jack Kiesling, and Dick Sims. I appreciate everything they've done in being supportive and assisting as well throughout this process. I particularly want to reach out and thank all the firefighters, not just the folks that are stationed here, but the guys around the city for everything they do on behalf of the public to keep Anderson a safe and a great place to live. They work around the clock, literally, to keep us safe, and we appreciate everything they do. And these guys absolutely deserve a first-rate facility because they clearly are first-rate firefighters. So I want to thank you guys, each and every one of you, for everything you do for the city of Anderson. I want to thank the city councilors, several city council members here today, who of course oversee our financing and make sure that we do have the revenues that we need to be able to make this all a possibility. And Lance Stevenson, I know Lance is here, and Greg Graham. I'm not sure if there's other folks here, but I'm pointing, there's Greg over here. I do appreciate everything that they do to help and work together with the city and so forth. So with that said, it's my pleasure to bring up Chief Dave Cravens. Dave's going to give you some more detail about what we're doing, what we've done, and what it is that we do. And again, just please accept my thanks and gratitude for us being able to keep this great station and continue to provide quality service to the people of Anderson. Thank you.
Thank you all for attending today. I greatly appreciate it. I want to start out thanking all my brothers and sisters of the fire department for their patience and dedication to getting this project done. I'm greatly touched. I also want to thank my administrative staff. Today is Administrative Staff Day. I thank them, thank my deputy chiefs. I would like to recognize the contractors, as I call your company out who stepped forward. These contractors went above and beyond the call of duty. They went the extra mile. They wanted to give back to the city, and I greatly appreciate that. Lehman's Heating and Cooling. Frederick's Contractors. Delaware Glass. Indiana Flooring. Ritchie Finish. Interior Treasures. And Direct Kitchen and Bath. I would also like to thank Mayor Broderick, David Ikes, Board of Works, for their continued support of this project and continued support of the fire department. We continue to upgrade fire stations and put money into fire stations for upgrading living quarters of firefighters. We continue to upgrade our equipment. We continue to be a more effective fire department on how we respond to our community, and I'm greatly touched. I would like to take a few minutes and really paint a picture from how we really got to this station. If you think about it, in the early 70s, when guys had their polyesters on, their platforms on, their afros and disco going on, and you had Watergate going on in Washington, D.C. Then you had the most favorite fire movie in Tower Inferno with Paul Newman and Steve McQueen. And then in the early 70s, our leaders of the city decided it was time to upgrade headquarters that was located on 8th and Central. And they purchased 9 parcels in this area for $250,000 through some federal improvements and 2 ordinances of funding. After 85 years of being at 8th and Central, they opened this station August 26 of 1975. And so now, 42 years later, we're here. And it's time that your fire department is a partner of your infrastructure. It's time we continue this process and put money into all the stations. When we did this project, it was $1.1 million. And what we did was able, as the mayor spoke, collect federal money, uncollectible Medicaid, Medicare money that didn't burden on any taxpayers. We broke it out into 3 different phases: phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Phase 1 and phase 2 covered heating and air conditioning. It covered the roof. It covered bringing all the electrical appliance up. We took every window out, reinstalled every window. We repaired every plaster. There's a lot of infrastructure going in. You can decorate it up, but there's a lot of internal infrastructure that goes into a project like this. And new carpet, new flooring. We made the front office more user-friendly for our residents, for EMS billing, more administrative for dignitaries, more professional. It's just an ongoing process. Our phase 3 will be fixing the outside of the building, sealing it, rust-proofing, painting, landscaping, making it more ADA compliant on the west side for handicap, for our senior citizens. It's a continued process. The Anderson Fire Department, we continue to strive to be the best fire department in the state of Indiana. When people dial 911, they want good services. They want trained and professional firefighters. The city of Anderson, we offer fire suppression, a hazmat team, a dive team, a technical rescue team, advanced and basic life support. Not every community offers that, especially our size. So we're very lucky and privileged. When they dial 911, they don't want the B team or the C team, they want an A team. And that's what you get with Anderson Fire Department. I thank you for coming today. We will have people usher people through tours for upstairs and downstairs. I thank the council for the continued support in the mayor's office and all my brothers, retired, and I love every one of you. Thank you so much.